COVID-19 has affected us all differently, but some are a lot more vulnerable than others. I saw firsthand how hard it was for people living with cystic fibrosis and wanted to do something. The entire GA community got behind the project as we looked to pass the slither, not the virus. We can make a major difference when we all come together. There's nothing minor about that.
The Electric Ireland GAA Minor Championships. This is major.
Diarmuid, I suppose it's a bit later in the year. You're back where you want in a Munster final this Sunday against Tipperary.
Yeah, a little bit strange, all right, leading up to Christmas. But look, we were delighted to have got over the line last week against Cork, and we're looking forward now to Sunday's game against Tipperary. So the lads are in good form.
Yeah, and it was a huge win over Cork, 12 points in the end, 2-19 to 13. And we'll get onto the scoring exploits in a minute. But from a defensive point of view, I think there's only 5 or 6 from play and 3 overall in the second half. A huge defensive performance.
Yeah, the lads are really good. I suppose initially in the first half, Jack, Cork had 9 points on the board leading into half time, maybe 5 minutes out from half time. So you wouldn't be overly happy with that, but you wouldn't be worried either, I suppose, that we hadn't conceded a goal. But the second half, our defence was really, really good. And I suppose sometimes, in fairness to Cork, when you're chasing the game like that, maybe some of the shot selections that they went for were under a little bit of pressure during that time. But look, our defenders were really, really good last week, so we hope it's the same this week.
And from an attacking point of view, then I suppose not to single out any players, but I suppose Captain Adam English, he's quick fire double, kind of changed the course of the game, and he kept the foot to the pedal then for the rest of the game.
Yeah, look, Adam got 2 great goals, and you mentioned that we won by 12 points for a finish, but really at that stage, the 2 goals were huge because they gave us a little bit of breathing space at half time. So he played really, really well. He was very good for us last year as well. But other guys, all the other forwards really worked hard, and in the 2 goals that Adam scored, there was great link-up play from the other forwards at that time, and they all contributed then with a few scores as well. So it was great. There was a great spread of scores last week.
And you'll enter this Sunday's game as defending champions. How important is it that not only that you are coming in as champions, but did you have a lot of players from last year's final that know what it's like to play on the biggest day?
Yeah, look, I think it definitely is a help. We've probably 8 lads from last year, that some that were playing all last year and some that were involved in the panel. And, that is useful going into the Munster final. They know what it's about, and you could even see in their performances last week, in terms of leadership, that it makes a big difference. But look, I think it's going to be very, very tight again on Sunday. Tipperary played us twice in challenge games, and they beat us on both occasions, and they're a good side, and they were comfortable enough beating Waterford last week as well.
Yeah, and just on Tipperary, that 2-13 win over Waterford, Tipperary always bring a huge pedigree, especially at minor levels, so you're expecting a tough challenge.
Yeah, they're a good side. They have a lot of players that played last year. I suppose maybe their minor team last year was with one eye on this year's championship, really. And you only have to look at the Harty Cup and look at all the Tipperary sides that are really involved in the latter stages of that competition over the last number of years. So look, I don't think there's going to be much in it. As I said before, we've played them twice. They were only challenge games, but still, we saw enough from Tipperary to kind of realise that they probably would be the team that would qualify from the other side. And if we were fortunate enough, we'd end up having to play them in a final.
And I suppose it's not really much of an advantage playing in front of an empty stadium, but it's probably a huge bonus to the lads that they get to actually tug out for Limerick in a Munster final in the Gaelic grounds.
Yeah, look, it's definitely good to be playing at home. Now, we didn't mind playing in Thurles last week. I suppose, we were thankfully John Kiley gave us the use of the Abbey School in terms of our preparation. So, we did a good job in terms of the timing and getting to play in Thurles, and we wouldn't have minded actually travelling back to Thurles this week and playing down there. But look, our lads will know the Gaelic grounds quite well from playing club games there. But I don't think, it's a huge advantage, as you say, with no crowd. Really, it's a very, very level playing field between all the sides at this moment in time.
And just on John Kiley there, obviously the senior hurlers are crowned All-Ireland champions the weekend. It's probably a bit of a buzz for your lads that they can continue in that crest of wave, or the wave of momentum that Limerick have at the moment.
Yeah, I think, look, obviously seniors had a fantastic win, and as I kind of said last week to you, Jack, we're just trying to ensure that the players coming through will be players into the future that will be able to play at senior level. some of them, and obviously, look, they're looking up to the senior guys and how they're performing all the time, and I'm sure that, deep down there's ambitions among our group for certain players to try and join that squad in 4 or 5 years' time, and that's the plan.
And just finally, and just on the squad in general, just an update. I know it's not the quickest of turnarounds, but still a week from the semi-final to final is quick. How are the lads just in recovery?
We've been fine. The only injury we had was Dylan Lynch, unfortunately, got injured during the course of the game. He had a hamstring issue before lockdown, and unfortunately that came back during the game, so he had to go off after 10 or 15 minutes and won't make this weekend, which is a big shame for Dylan, all the effort and hard work that he's put in. But everybody else in our panel is fitting well, so we've 33 to pick from, and that's always a really, really difficult task for any game, and particularly for a Munster final.
Being named Monaghan minor captain for 2020 meant the world to me. But then my world turned upside down as my grandmother passed away from COVID-19. With no matches taking place, I tried to do something positive. When I heard that a teammate's little sister was seriously ill, the Monaghan minor panel pulled together to plan a sponsored walk to get Millie the vital medical care she needs. There's nothing minor about that.
The Electric Ireland GAA Minor Championships. This is major.